Yo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Alvin MB10, aka AMR10, and what I got for you today is some more NBA 2K23 Next Gen. Now, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, the build that I have for you today happens to be the best lockdown point guard build in all of NBA 2K23 Next Gen, and this build manages to come with 90 speed, 90 excel, as well as Hall of Fame clamps, Hall of Fame challenger, gold glove, and gold interceptor. Now, I will not lie, this is a build I feel a bunch of people might want to run just because the meta in 2K23 Next Gen sometimes is short guards that can do the most, and with this build you'll be able to lock them up, and then offensively you do have at least an 83 ball, meaning you'll be able to knock down jump shots. Now, as you can see, the person who I made this build after is Jrue Holiday, because most of you know he happens to be one of the best defensive guards in the league. However, you can, you know what I'm saying, put your own name there. Position-wise, it is point guard, right-handed, jersey number can be whatever you want. I personally love to rock 10 just because some of the greatest athletes I've ever watched wore the number 10. Height-wise, he does come in at about 6'5". I say he does. The build is 6'5" because, again, I wanted it to be that the build could really lock up, and at 6'6", it's really hard to get that 90 XL without dropping the weight so far down that it's basically rendered useless. So we decided to go with a 6'5" on the height. Weight-wise, we dropped it down to about 182 pounds. Again, this is down to your personal preference. You could put it higher or lower if you want. And then wingspan, decided to put this up to a 7-foot wingspan just because, yeah, I wanted to max out as much as I could on steal and perimeter. Now, body shape, you can elect to go with what you want here. I usually go with solid or compact just because I feel like defined is a bit too bulky and built is just, yeah. So I'm going to go on this build with solid. Now, before we get into the skill breakdown for this build, I do got to say thank you to all of you for all the support you've been showing on the channel, watching videos, liking videos, dropping comments, telling me about the builds you run. So do me a favor, go ahead down below in the comments and tell me what build are you currently running on NBA 2K23 Next Gen or Current Gen, as well as what builds would you like to see me make on this channel. And if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more content like this where I make my takes on some of the best builds in the game, then do me a favor, go ahead and drop a like down below. And then obviously, if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so yet and you want to show some support to the channel, which is highly appreciated, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as turning post notifications on. Watch the video through because it does help with the YouTube algorithm and getting these videos out there. And of course, if you haven't yet, go join the Discord. I will be putting the link down below in the comments, but you can also find it in the description. Yeah. Now, getting straight into the build, we do come with a 90 speed, 90 XL split, as I did say for the physicals, because again, this has to be a lockdown point guard build, so it has to be fast enough that if you get beat, you can catch up. And to match this, we decided to go with a 90 on the stamina. You can choose to go higher if you really want to. Strength-wise, the build goes up to a 47, but that's mainly because of the defensive stats we put on it. And yeah, that's the physicals basically rounded up. When it comes to, I'm going to get the finishing out the way because this is not the best side of it. It comes with a 40 on the close shot and a 65 on the driving layup. Now, these are not the greatest stats, but you need to remember something. This is meant to be a lockdown point guard build, not the, well, greatest balanced, the greatest offensive point guard build. I had two choices when making this build, which were I could either give it a finishing capability or shooting capabilities to tie up. But I decided to go with shooting just because in this game, a lot of people are going to guard rim running a lot more than they're going to guard shots, in which case you'd want to have a jump shot more than you want to have the ability to rim run. So you do finish with 3 badges. Again, if I'm you, easily just go Giant Slayer and maybe something along the lines of Acrobat if you really want to. But again, finishing is not your main use of this build. Now, shooting wise, we did decide to go with an 80 on the 3 ball because I wanted you to have the capability of being able to knock down shots, and as you can see, this does allow you to get silver blinders as well as many other badges. I would personally run gold space creator as well as corner specialist and claymore, just because when you see the playmaking on this build, you will be able to get yourself open off the dribble, so you might want to run some badges that can help you shoot off the dribble. However, when it came to the mid-range jump shot, we left it at a 65 because, again, I'm not expecting you to be driving in and knocking down mid-range jumpers. When it came to the free throw, decided to put this up to a 79 just because we want you to be able to take this build into the rec and be able to knock down free throws as you please. Nobody likes it when you're getting hacked and you can't make free throws in the clutch. Now, this does mean you finish with 14 total shooting badges, which means you cannot get the tier 3s even though I recommended them, in which case I would suggest you put 2 of those extra badge points on shooting just so you can core blinders, and then you can have a choice of whether you want to slap on any of the other badges. I'd probably slap on Deadeye or Limitless. I don't know about Asian 3s. Now, playmaking wise, the build does come with an 85 on the ball handle because it is a point guard, allowing you to get that gold quick first step as well as unpluckable and of course hyperdrive. Then when it comes to speed with ball, we do put this all the way up to a 79 for the extra badge count, and then pass accuracy wise, we do also put this up to a 79 because we did want you to have the capabilities of being able to move the ball around, because even though you're meant to be a perimeter lockdown build, you're also supposed to have the capabilities of being able to play offense, and with ball handling and shooting, you'll be able to do quite a bit of that without the other team really suspecting that you're really weak when it comes to finishing. Now, this does mean you finish with 21 total Playmaking badges, again, your preference of how you want to run this. I would personally do something along the lines of possibly coring killer combos, slapping on quick first step, unpluckable, maybe hyperdrive. I'm not too sure. I haven't run it necessarily myself, but then it comes down to your personal playstyle and how you see yourself playing with this build. Now, the piece of resistance, the defense, this is where the build really stands out. To start off with, it gets a 56 when it comes to the interior defense, mainly because we wanted the badge point that comes along with it. As you can see, it does nothing really for the build because, again, this is a 6'5" guard build, meaning that when you are at the rim, unless you're guarding point guards or shooting guards, you're going to have a really tough time. But either way, a 56 interior defense does help with that. When it comes to the perimeter, we put this all the way up to a 97, meaning you can get Hall of Fame clamps and Hall of Fame challenger on the build, which is a necessity, especially on the lockdown build, because you do want to contest a lot of these kids who are shooting fading threes or just pull-ups off strange ranges. On the steal side of things, we decided to go as high as a 95. A 95, just because we were trying to get gold glove and interceptor. Like, in my personal preference, out of the two, with the 7-foot wingspan, I'd most likely run gold interceptor, because if you are doing what you're supposed to on the defensive end, you will find that they'll start to move the ball away from the point guard, or at least move it away from him bringing it up, in which case they'll possibly be passing it to him in a half-court set, in which case having gold interceptor will be clutch, because when they do throw those passes, you can play the passing lanes. Now, on the block side of things, we only do manage to get it up to a 63 because, again, badge count, plus we did want to only get silver challenger because we couldn't get it all the way to a 75, which would have allowed us gold. But at a 63, we do get that silver challenger as well as the extra badge point that gets up to a 25. And then on rebounding, I decided to go with a bit of a weird split. I decided to go with a 78 on the offensive rebound, 75 on the defensive rebound split. My key thinking here was, again, badge points, because I did want to get as many badge points as I could on the defensive side of things, because, again, this is meant to be a perimeter lockdown build, so you will want as many of these as you can possibly get. Now, with 29 total badges, the thing you could do here is, if you've managed to finish, I think it was Season 3, you will be able to get the ability to switch your cores around, in which case I would put your 2 cores on defense, because in that case you can core challenger and clamps and still have the capability of getting glove and interceptor. If you don't do that, however, you can still get all 4 of these badges by firstly coring clamps or challenger, and then of course you're left with 29 total badge points, which these 3 tally up to 22. So instead of putting that +2 on shooting, you'd have to go with +3 on defense, in which case you can slap on all 3. Then with the extra 10 badge points, I'd probably run Hall of Fame workhorse silver ankle braces, in which case you would just be able to guard up everything, and yeah, any opposing point guard will really struggle against you. Now, as you can see, the split is 29 defensive, 21 playmaking, 14 shooting, and 3 finishing, meaning we do finish with a grand total of 50, 64, 67 total badge points on this build, and with the +4 you get from playing the My Career games, that gives you up to a, did I say 64? Yeah, 67, sorry. That gives you a 71 total badge point count on this build. And if you finish previous seasons of NBA 2K23 Next Gen, that's 73. Now, I know the split is not amazing in regards of there's not a lot of finishing and not a lot of shooting. But again, as I said, this is a lockdown point guard build. Now, the shooting makes up for itself. Now, when it comes to takeovers, the very first one you want to go with, in my personal opinion, happens to be extreme clamps. Because as it says, it stonewalls ball handlers into more force stops, pickups, and fumbles when bodying them up. And with the 90 speed and 97 perimeter defense, you can pick them up full court and really cause problems for them. And then for the secondary take, you might want to go with something along the lines of playmaking, whether it's team ratings boost or team badge boost. But if it's me personally speaking, I want to get that enhanced jump shot contest, because as I said, this is a lockdown point guard build, and I am trying to cause problems for all these kids out here. Now, the players we do manage to get in the shades of for this build happen to be none other than Kirk Hinrich, Lonzo Ball, Jrue Holiday. I watched Kirk Hinrich play from like 2010 onwards. I'm not gonna lie, I did not think of him as a lockdown point guard. Lonzo Ball as a 3-and-D point makes a whole lot of sense. Jrue Holiday as a 3-and-D point, he's got more capability at creating jump shots off the midi as well as getting to the hoop, which is why I don't see him as much of that, but I do get what the game is trying to say. Now, in my personal opinion, this is a build you should consider running, especially if you're new to the game and haven't tried it too much yet, just because this build will help you survive. And I might personally make this build on the side once YouTube decides to pay us a little bit of cash so that I can make it and show you how the gameplay really looks. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, which if you did, don't forget to do me a favor, go and hit that like button down below. If you're new to the channel and you ain't done so yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as turning post notifications on. And lastly but not least, don't forget to go down below in the comments and drop a comment telling me what build you want to see next on the channel. Anyway, it's been your boy Alvin MB10, aka AMR10. I'll catch you in a bit. Deuces.